Nothing can ever happen twice. In consequence, the sorry fact is that we arrive here improvised and leave without the chance to practice.
Even if there is no one dumber, if you're the planet's biggest dance, you can't repeat the class in summer. These cards in only of it once.
No day copies yesterday. No tonight will teach what bliss is. In precisely the same way, with precisely the same kisses.
One day, perhaps some idle tongue mentions your name by accident. I feel as if a rose were flung into the room, all healed and sent.
The next day, though you're here with me, I can't help looking at the clock. A rose? A rose? What could that be? Is it a flower or a rock?
Why do we treat the fleeting day with so much needless fear and sorrow? It's in its nature not to stay. Today is always gone tomorrow.
With smiles and kisses, we prefer to seek accord beneath our star. Although we're different, conquer just as 2 drops of water are.
As she fell to her knees and burst into tears, he looked all around the park. Just as he'd expected, it was empty at this early hour. Jogging wouldn't be fashionable for a long time yet, and it was too cold for the beggars who slept on park benches with nothing but newspaper over them.
He carefully wrapped the chronograph in its cloth and slipped it into the backpack. She was huddled beside one of the trees on the north bank of the Serpentine, on a carpet of faded crocuses.
Her shoulders were shaking, and her sobs sounded like the desperate cries of an injured animal. He could hardly bear it, but he knew from experience that it was better to leave her alone. So he sat down beside her in the down-covered grass, gazed at the smooth surface of the water, and waited.
On the first occasion, the Jean carrier never travelled back farther than 150 years, explained Great Aunt Mattie kindly. This house was finished in 1781, so Charlotte is perfectly safe here in the music room. At worst, she might scare a couple of ladies playing the harpsichord.
Rain is pattering against the kitchen window. Mino likes the sound, the feeling it gives her of being cocooned inside a secure house. Billie Holiday's voice is filtering through the speakers in the living room. The low-hanging kitchen lamp casts a warm glow over her parents' face. How are you feeling, darling? Her father asks. It's the 3rd time he asked since he came home. Okay, she answered briefly. More than anything, she just feels incredibly tired and drained. She talked to her mother a few hours ago, but she doesn't know how she's feeling. All she knows is that she's too exhausted to think. Are you going to write about it? She asks. Her father scratches the bridge of his nose, making his glasses bob up and down. We've discussed it. If the poor boy had killed himself at home, of course we wouldn't. But as it happened at school, the whole town already knows about it. Her mother shakes her head. You'll be criticized for writing about it. We'll be criticized if we don't. Mina's father is the editor of a local newspaper. It only comes out a few times a week and mostly offers up exciting headlines like new traffic circle inaugurated on Gneisgatan. 3/4 of the town's households subscribe to Engelsfalls Herald. Everyone knows who Mina's father is. Sissi had written an article, he continues. I had to cut half of it. Of course, get rid of all the gory details. You know what she's like. But suicide is a sensitive topic, no matter how we tone it down. Mina stares at her plate. She has barely touched her food, and the meat sauce suddenly looks repulsive. Are the police sure it was a suicide? She asks. There's no doubt of it, her father answers. But, and this stays between us, all right? Not a word about this to anyone at school. Of course not, Minu sighs. She has never given him reason to doubt her ability to keep quiet. Minu learned early on that most people collect information so that they can pass it on, but that the only way to get your hands on really interesting information is to be trustworthy. Elias died yesterday, sometime after 4:30. He had just been to the principal. He'd been missing school, and the principal wanted to nip it in the bud, as she put it. They spoke for half an hour. It suddenly dawns on Minu that Linnea had meant when she accused the principal. What had happened at that meeting? What did the principal have to say? She asks. She's shocked, of course.
And she saw nothing to suggest he was suicidal, her mother asks. Of course, that's the question that'll be asked. Why didn't she? Poor woman. She's barely been there a year, and this happens. Naturally, the school responsibility is going to be aired, especially since the way he did it seems to have been intended as kind of a message to the school itself. Eric, her mother says, maybe you don't want to remind Minnie of. That wasn't my intention, for God's sake, father hisses. Can't we talk about something else? Minnie asks. Her parents stare at her anxiously, and they exchange looks. I can't bear to listen to any more about Elias, she mumbles. I understand, her mother says calmly. While they finish their meal, they talk about the cutbacks at the paper. Occasionally, Minu makes a comment, yet she doesn't remember a word of the conversation once dinner is over. Anna-Karin's mother lights a cigarette while she's still chewing her last mouthful, always eager to fill her lungs with nicotine and tar. The food is something she wants to get out of the way so she can have that delicious after-dinner smoke. Anna-Karin gave up complaining about it a long time ago. Her mother feels that cigarettes are the only luxury she allows herself, and that's why she intends to damn well smoke without feeling guilty about it. Rain is pelting the window. Puddles are forming in the garden in front of the house. The potato salad and smoked pork loin swells in Anna-Karin's mouth. It doesn't feel like there's room for anything in her stomach except stress. She tried to study for a while before dinner, but found herself reading the same paragraph over and over again. She's afraid she won't be able to handle the natural sciences course. If she wants to become a vet, she'll need top grades. She can't fall behind so early in the first term of year 11. I had a phone call, Grandpa says, all of a sudden, and looks at Anna-Karin from Åke. His son works as a paramedic. Åke was wondering how you were, if you knew the boy. What's this? Mama asks between puffs. They stare at her. Might as well get it over with. A boy died at school today. Elias. He killed himself. Mama takes a long drag from her cigarette, then shrouds the table in ultraviolet smoke with a single exhalation. And you're only telling me now? Anna-Karin looks at Grandpa helplessly. It wasn't Helena's son Elias, was it? Mama continues. Helena who? The priest. What was Elias' last name? It's easy to forget that Mama once had another life. It's only when she starts talking about old friends and acquaintances that Anna-Karin remembers. Malmgren answers Anna-Karin. Good Lord, it is him. Mama puts out her cigarette and immediately lights another one. She looks elated. She's always like that when there's a tragedy or an accident. It's the only time she ever stops wallowing in her own misery. Poor Helena, she says. Isn't that typical? She works as a spiritual guide to others, but I suppose you can still be blind to what's going on in your own home. How did he do it?
I don't know, but he did it at school. Mama is excited now. For once, she's alert and bursting with energy. She leans towards Anna Karin as if they were two friends gossiping over coffee. Who found him? Two girls. One of them is in my class, Mino. The newspaper's man's daughter, Mama says. Grandpa has been sitting there without saying a word. Now he reaches across the table and pats Anna Karin's hand. Was this Elias a friend of yours? No, I just knew who he was. When you're young, you think the world revolves around you and that every little setback is a catastrophe, Mama says. You don't understand how good you got it, all the responsibility you're spared. Young people don't have it easy these days, Grandpa remonstrates. No, they expect to have everything done for them, Mama snorts. Anna Karin has trouble swallowing again. Her anger is stuck like a lump in her throat. She puts down her knife and fork. With his whole life ahead of him, Mama continues. I can't understand it, but I can. Anna Karin wants to scream. She thought so many times how easy it would be to end it all. The first occasion was when she was 8 and had told her teacher about her leaving hell. He tried to talk to the kids who were bullying her, but they respond by stripping her down to her t-shirt and pants and leaving her in the playground in the middle of the winter. The next time we kill you, farm girl, said Erik Forslund. When her mother came and picked her up, Anna Karin said that they had been playing. If Mama had propped a little, she would have told her the truth. But instead she had scolded her for making her drive all the way to school to pick her up. Yes, Anna Karin knows how it feels to want to die. For 8 years she thought about it almost every day, then put it out of her mind. Because Grandpa's here, and the animals, and the holidays when she doesn't have to go into town. And sometimes when she dares to think that far ahead, the dream of another life takes form, a life in which she's a vet and can buy a farm of her own in the middle of the forest, far away from Engelsfors.